So, you've enrolled in a movement practice program and you've got 1 hour of routine corrective exercise to do every day. Fantastic. That is going to be a huge help in progressing in terms of your mobility journey. It's going to expedite the process, having that 1 hour, 30 minutes, whatever the case might be, of intentional movement for the sake of giving our body something good, something strong, something healthy. We do have to acknowledge the other 23 hours of the day, because whether we like it or not, those 23 hours are going to be making a larger impact on our overall structure, on our overall mobility than the 1 hour of corrective exercise. So if the rest of the day we're putting ourselves in compromised, weak, or undesirable positions, we're really going to be fighting ourselves when it comes to making progress with the corrective exercise. So this video, I'm going to go over some basic changes, upgrades, or adjustments that you can make in your everyday life that are going to help accelerate your progress. This is really the needle mover, is the lifestyle change. We got to change how we move, period. We got to change how we live, period, if we want lasting results. There's no two ways around it. So that's what I'm going to try to show you guys in this video. I hope that you can take something valuable from it. We'll get into the next section right now. Okay, so in this section, we're going to go over resting positions. Why? Because resting is what we do more than anything during the day. If you can imagine a top to bottom day of a pretty average person, I'm gonna go to work, I'm gonna sit in my 9 to 5 office job like this, I'm gonna get in my car and I'm gonna sit like this, I'm gonna come home, I'm gonna sit at the dinner table like this, and then I'm gonna go on the couch and sit like this. More or less. You can kind of play around with the pieces to see where it fits and where it doesn't with your situation. So we're resting a lot during the day, and sometimes we can't get around it. Sometimes we have an office job and that's what we have. Sometimes we got to get in the car and that's what we have. No problem. Where can we make adjustments to create more mobility during our day? Well, most of us have control over how we rest when we come home and the workday is over. So what are better ways to create mobility in your body through resting positions? Using the ground. The ground is so simple, but so phenomenal for creating mobility. Why? Because it's tiring. It's more tiring than sitting on the couch. When we're sitting on the couch or in a chair, we're like this, we're outsourcing all of our strength of our back chain support here. So my glutes, hamstrings, spinal erectors, my back, my neck muscles, everything can turn off. Our body loves conserving energy. Every animal wants to conserve as much energy as possible. So it's no surprise that we love these positions that enable us not to do anything with our body. However, this is one static position a lot through the day, and our body's bound to atrophy in places while we're stuck like this. So spending time on the ground, our muscles fatigue, our muscles get tired. We want to move around, change positions. Ooh, I'm here, getting a little bit tired. Okay, let's go crisscross. Getting a little bit tired. Let's go deep squat if we have that. If we don't, get a yoga block, get a stone, for example. You can see how I get tired from each of these positions after a few minutes. Eventually, an hour goes by, I've been topsy-turvy, twisting around, moving around in all sorts of directions, using all sorts of movements in my body. You know what they say, if you don't use it, you lose it. So being on the ground is a great way to be using it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna run us through a few simple ground resting positions and the posture that we wanna try to create to strengthen our posterior, our back chain, our big ass suspension system that is going to be great for moving us forward. It's gonna be great for keeping us safe, keeping us efficient, etc. So the first one, classic, just Seiza. I got my legs folded, my knees are pretty close together. I'll show you from the back. I got my heels pointing out, my toes pointing in. They're kind of cupping my hips. Not everybody has access to this mobility here, which is why you can make a couple adjustments. You can go like this, which I think we call samurai, with our toes tucked. Alternatively, you can take a cushion of varying sizes, place it here. Oof, that's a nice one, I like that one. And we want to bring our awareness to our posture as well, because if we're sitting in Seiza, but we're doing a couch slouch, then, it's probably better, but we're still losing posture, we're still losing athletic ability, we're still not creating a vital and strong and powerful structure, which is hopefully what we all want. So I'm gonna always kind of make sure my hips are set up behind me, and then my upper body comes up with a nice, strong, elongated posture. My neck is pulled back and up just a little bit, trying to pull my spine really long, and just try to sit here and maintain as much quality posture as possible. You kind of want to bring this into your everyday life, whether you're sitting on a chair and there's a back to it, try resist using the back. Try using your back. Try strengthening these muscles down here. Eventually you're gonna get tired and you're gonna want to use the backrest. That's okay, but as long as we bring some more attention, some more time to working these muscles, then eventually we're gonna be able to hold ourselves up without needing a backrest. And that's gonna be a lot more conducive to strong, powerful, efficient movement. So, some other positions. Once I get tired of seiza, inevitably, we have half seiza, or half kneeling position, and I can swap it to the other side. Boom. If you have access to a deep squat, this is another great one. If you don't, get a yoga block or a stone. Boom, another great position. The stone kind of hurts, so I'll double it up with a pillow sometimes, and then I'll have like my short desk here, my laptop. I can do some good work right here. I can do some good work and then swap it up if I need to. You can also take a yoga block or something like this. If your seiza is a little bit uncomfortable, you can kind of straddle it and sit on it, and that makes for a little bit more of a comfortable seiza without trying to tire out the legs too much. So those are a couple really good ones for while we want to be attentive, looking forward, doing something. There's obviously also crisscross applesauce, classic. I feel like I didn't have to explain that one. And then there is just lying on the ground. But a lot of us, if we just have our legs splayed out flat like that, we're gonna get something uncomfortable. A lot of us have tight hips. And so elevating our legs onto a surface is going to help relieve our hips. It's gonna help bring everything into the back chain. It's really gonna help elongate and flatten our spine out along the ground. It's really, I think, important that we get comfortable being able to lay on the ground without a pillow under our head. We want to be able to have this long stacked structure on the ground. This can be a wall that you put your feet up on. It can be a couch that you rest your calves on. This can be a low surface just like that. This is another great spot to make a phone call, write an email, read a book, watch some TV, listen to some music. Really great way to decompress and rest during the day. And then we also have the classic tummy time. So just being on your stomach on the ground, you know, using your neck muscles to keep your body up, feeling your back work here. There are so many different positions to be in when resting on the ground. It really is incredible how much more mobility we can have just from our resting time. We're not even trying that hard. Like, once you start resting in this way, that tiresome feeling is gonna go away really quickly. And you're going to feel a difference in your mobility, especially when you think about, I need to get up off the ground. So there's a lot more movement involved getting up off the ground than there is getting up and down off the couch. You know, it's just, and everyone's making those sounds. But the ground invites us to move. It invites us to challenge our range of motion, and it invites us to use the muscles in our body that help us move forward and help us stay strong. So these have been resting positions. Now we're gonna get into the next section. All right, now I wanna talk about shoes, because shoes are another thing that we spend a lot of time in during the day, and it's another way in which we outsource the strength of our body to something, well, outside of ourselves. And so here are a couple comparison shoes to kind of make my point here. Here's kind of like a classic running shoe. It's kind of a court shoe. It's meant for squash, something dynamic, but you'll notice if you compare it with this shoe on the left side, this toe box here is super narrow compared to this one. Another thing to note is, look how thick the heel is here. That's a really high thickness, and then it gets really small here. So this is what we call heel drop. This is kind of like this wedge shape here. And then you'll notice on this one, it's basically the exact same. And it actually is the exact same because I bought these because they have zero drop and they are wide toe box. But the point that I want to make is that this shoe, it has a high arch in it. It has this padding here for the heel, and then it also has a really narrow toe box. So it's doing a lot of things to our foot to prevent it from being in a really natural, wide, splayed position. When I'm looking at these two things together, look at the width of my foot. Look at how it fans out and how it wants to grip the ground. Look at that surface area. And then look at this shoe. It really wants to squeeze my toe into a point. And so not only when we're playing sports that, excuse this thing, not only when we're playing sports that require us to put shoes like this on, but everyday shoes as well. Runners. My Vans aren't so bad. They're a little bit better, but they're still a little bit narrow. Even things like Birkenstocks, you know, touted as natural footwear. The toe box is relatively wide, but it still has a really strong arch support. We are taking the responsibility of absorbing impact from the ground away from our feet and into the shoe. So what does that do? Well, our feet have evolved or have been designed or whatever to move us long distances for long periods of time. So when we put that job, outsource it to a shoe, then our feet become weak. The same way our legs and back chain become weak when we sit on couches too much. And so, do you have a shoe that is helping your foot remain strong? Do you have a shoe that is keeping your foot's natural structure, which is meant to absorb impact from the ground? Or is it something that is compressing your foot? It's giving it an arch so you don't have to maintain your own arch. You have to rely on shoes to maintain your arch. It's just something to think about, something you can change. I would not suggest switching to extremely minimalist shoes if you've been wearing really supportive shoes for a long time. I would suggest doing a really gradual change because it can be really hard on your feet if you are not used to wearing minimalist footwear. But this is another important one because we spend a lot of the time during the day in our shoes, and our feet are the foundation that hold everything up. We want strong arches. We want a nice wide foot. It's better for balance. We want our toes to be able to grip and fan out and move around. That's going to help the rest of our body up the chain move, work, and absorb pressure the way that it's meant to. Let's get to the next section. So this next section is all about adjusting your environment to promote more movement. And one of the first things I like to suggest is just getting a pull-up bar for the door. Even if you're not gonna do pull-ups, having something to put your arms up, get a nice stretch, or hang from is super awesome. Like, really cannot say enough about it. And just by virtue of it being there, I catch myself doing way more pull-ups, you know, getting way more stretches in than I normally would, just because it's there. This wasn't a huge investment. I found ones like this for like $25 at the used store, at the thrift store. This is a newer one. It was still only about $50, which I think is a really good deal for how much use we get out of it. Another thing I want to note is your environment. It's a little bit messy, don't mind, but so we got a couple couches here. We got a nice carpet section, and we got the television, which we tend to sometimes watch a show or a movie together. Using that carpeted ground is a great place to ground rest. So I'll have my roommate, he'll sit on one of the couches, and then I got all this room on the floor to lay down, to move around in the different positions, keeping my body mobile, keeping it doing its thing. So this is my room, and I've set this room up to encourage movement as much as possible. So you'll notice I got this ground mat over here. I got this yoga mat. Those kind of are mainstays and they stay there. And you may be wondering, okay, what do you sleep on this? Technically, yes. My bedding is in the corner here. I just got this like foldable piece of foam with my bed sheet on it. I got a comforter. I got my pillow. So at night, I just lay that out all on top of the movement sheet. I go to sleep. It's a nice firm, flat surface, which again, like the ground resting, encourages more movement, gets my body used to the flat and firm expanse of the ground. And then in the morning, I just pack it all up neatly in the corner somewhat. And then I got all this room to move around in here. And then there are a couple other things. So here was the original pull-up bar I had. It's kind of broken, so I didn't want to have it on the door, but it's another great piece to do some perching on. So sometimes I'll just step up on here with my feet if I can balance. Woo. Spend 5 minutes on there. You can do that with some support on the wall. You could even be writing something, texting somebody, whatever the case. I got the stone there. I can move that around and do some, I don't know, presses or rows. I just got this resistance band that kind of just lies around, so that way I can just pull on it and stretch and move my arms around in a bunch of different ways whenever I feel like I need to get some opening or some more movement. Here is one of my favorite purchases. This little desk here was like $7 at the thrift store. And so now I have this desk where I can be working on the ground. I can be sat on the rock with the pillow. I can be in Seiza. I can be doing whatever. I can be doing work on my laptop. I can be recording a podcast. I can be writing something. I can even take all the stuff off of it and then use it as a support for a step decompression or a forward fold or decline push-ups or something. So this is kind of the setup that I have to encourage more movement throughout my day. Now, of course, disclaimer, I am a 24-year-old single male. So obviously I have the freedom to do this and I don't have to worry about what anyone else thinks. If you have a partner or something, this may be more of a conversation to have with somebody, of course, because they may be affected by this. But if you're looking to make huge lifestyle changes that are going to benefit your mobility in a massive way, these are some of my favorite ones and some of the ones that I have going on right now. And because I don't own this place, these couches are still here and these chairs are still here and whatnot. If I owned this place, boom, couch is gone, better floor mats, might have like a little ground table over there, kind of like Japanese style, whatever the case. But these are some really simple and awesome ways you can pick and choose which one you want or what makes sense for you to just have more movement throughout the day. Just got a nice open space, pull-up bar, excellent. On to the next section. All right, in this last section, I'm just gonna talk about the fact that just simply moving more often is going to do a lot for your feeling of comfortability in your body. So this can look like going for walks every day. This can look like, if you work a desk job, setting a timer every 45 minutes, every hour, just get up and do 2 or 3 minutes of movement, whether that's a walk, whether that's a forward fold, whether that's like an air chair, something like that. Just getting more movement throughout your day is going to do a lot for your body. And also a lot of studies have been shown that breaks throughout the day while you're trying to work, while you're trying to focus, actually help you be more productive. So just moving more throughout the day. Movement timers, a great one. You know, if the store's nearby and you could drive, but you could walk, definitely go for the walk. You're gonna be thankful that you did stack up all those steps when you're older, because again, if you don't use it, you lose it. So if you have an opportunity to walk somewhere, I would see that as a huge win and take that every time. Now, another thing that I wanna bring our attention to is if we're somewhere like the kitchen and we're cooking or we're washing dishes, maybe we're at the bank, we're waiting in line, we can put movement snacks anywhere throughout our day. So something like this, if I'm chopping here, if I want to, I can go into a bit of an air chair. I can send my hips back, pull the ground apart a little bit, and try to find some activation along my back chain. Now my hamstrings turned on, my glutes are turned on, spinal erectors turned on, and boom, I'm chopping, boom, I'm stirring, boom, I'm putting herbs together, and I'm multitasking, I'm maxing, I'm getting strength in my back chain. You can do the same thing at the bank. Sometimes at the bank, I'll pull out a forward fold. You know, these people are taking ages, talking about their bills, whatever, that's fine. I got work to do. Here I am. Boom, forward fold in the bank. People are gonna look at you because, strangely enough, it's abnormal to be moving around in public. What a weird world we live in, is it not? And so, different kinds of movement snacks we can get throughout the day. Here's a good one at the grocery store. Boom, single leg, wall sit, chilling, loading up on a single side. Boom, super nonchalant, super chill. No one knows you're getting a movement snack in. You can be very mysterious and cool if you want to. Or you can just be normal about it. So there's that too. So these are a bunch of different ways to just get more movement in during the day. Just go for more walks. Just do a few push-ups here and there. Just use your body more. Spend some time with your arms above your head. Who cares? You know, like if you don't do this a lot, then just do this. See what it feels like to stretch as wide and as far as you can. Boom. All right, everybody, this has been Coach Julian. Thank you for watching the 23 other hours of the day, lifestyle adjustments to improve your mobility, lifestyle adjustments to change the game for you. Here I am in another one of my favorite ground resting positions. Thank you for watching. If you got any questions, please send me a message, please send me an email. Whatever the case, doors open, always. Thank you for being here. Catch you on the next one.